Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Whoops. Oh, oh, I see. There we go. Oh, maybe a little more wire. What are we doing? Hello. This is the drippings from the beef rib, and it kind of has a nice color to it, and it's going to be used in a potato dish today. So we're basically going to be we're going to be using this in a potato dish. do a shout out. Shout out to Adrian Quiepo, P8K, and to Logan D9G9M. Welcome. Welcome, Adrian Quiepo. I think you're going to really like this. Oh, yeah, look at that color. Did you get a chance to see the ribs earlier? This is from the ribs, beef rib. Don't want to waste any of it, right? Why waste good drippings? Yeah. No need to waste if you can get all that flavor. So now I gotta do some potato chopping. The goal today is to have a really nice, rich, beefy flavor for the potatoes. I feel like that would just be great. I'm going to show you the dish here in a second that I'm going to use. Use this for the potatoes, but I got to grease the pan here. Am I going to be on tomorrow? I think I will because I got to do some work in the early afternoon / morning, and I'm gonna be hungry, so I'm probably gonna cook tomorrow too. Yeah. I think I might go to the store after getting some work done tomorrow. Look at that color. I mean, it went from this orange to this beautiful. Look at this beautiful, beautiful. What'd you call this? Like a deep, almost I would call this almost like a deep amberish, but it's too red to be amber. Well, I guess amber can be like that, yeah. It's cool. Oh, your phone's about to die. Well, hey, Adrian, glad you could visit. And then I'm probably going to be on tomorrow. Yeah, closer. I usually come on in the evening because uh I got stuff going on during the day. So there you go. Um, I I I record most of the time unless like I'm going out to eat or something, which is rare because everything's so expensive, right? But if I'm doing anything where I feel like it's cool or you know, it's especially if it's something new that I haven't done yet, I tend to record it. Or if it's like if it's a pasta, I almost always do that. Bye bye. You have a good one there. And then I also put the there's some time delay, but then I do take the video on demands, and so I have a whole video on demand section for my live streams. So you never have to feel like you missed anything. It just there's a little wait. Okay. Here's the here's the dish. I, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So let's see how this is. Seems fine. It's going well. Keep letting it reduce down. Smells great. I can't believe the smell. Oh man, I gotta make these ribs again if that's the smell from the drippings. It's amazing. It must be the smoked paprika mixing with the pepper. It all mixes together. Okay, got that. I think after working with mushrooms for so long, now that I'm getting decent at working with meats, um, it's almost like I kind of earned it because I gained a little bit of skill. So now, you know what it is? I'll tell you a little story. This is a little story about my cooking journey here. When I first started cooking, I tried cooking meat. I wanted to make a beef with broccoli dish, right? And uh, sometimes the meat at the stores looks good, smells fine, but it's not fine. And so what I did was I cooked this beef, but it wasn't cooked long enough or high enough temperature, and so it had something in there. And I was just feeling terrible. I had this pain in my neck and everything, which is usually uh, means that it didn't get cooked long enough. And then I got into cooking mushrooms in my meals, and it just doesn't have the same risk. Because usually, if you're going to have a meal with mushrooms, you cook it rigorously. Because who wants to eat raw mushrooms, right? You can avoid it unless it's in. And the people that do the raw mushrooms with the salads, I think they're taking their lives in their hands. So what happened was, I really didn't cook very much meat, and then I started. Oh, but I did do like things like hamburger helpers or whatever. That's pretty simple. And then what happened was I'm going to unplug, and then we're going to go over to the cutting area, and we're going to continue the story, so you can hear the story here. Uh, Oopsies. Um. So what happened was I really didn't cook a lot of meat, and um, but I got really good at cooking mushrooms and other veggies, baked dishes, potato dishes, just stuff. So then what happened was I wanted to make a hamburger helper one day, and because it was like one of the few beef things that I would do, and I I had let's see, had ooh, don't want to knock that over. That's good. Wow, this is perfect right now. I'm just letting it simmer, low temperature. I think you'll get what I'm going to do with that in a second. So what happened was, I wanted to have the hamburger helper, but I forgot that I used the hamburger helper like powder stuff, the noodle pack. I already used that the previous week. So I bought the hamburger meat, but I didn't have any uh, like flavor packs for it. So I thought, what am I gonna do? And then what I did was I actually just made meatballs. I didn't bring my coffee over. This is the holidays, so that's why there's marshmallow. There's a marshmallow in my coffee there. Um, so what happened was I made the meatballs, and they were kind of like, the kind of meatballs where they're kind of fried on the medium sized pan thing, actually large, and then they're they're just kind of cooked in their own fat in a sense with a little bit of olive oil. And I had them, and I'm like, dang, these came out really good. And then so I invited some friends over, and I kind of like some of them were running late, okay. And then so instead of turning off the heat entirely and putting them aside, I just kind of turned the heat down a little bit and was salting them and rotating them and doing them and then just repeating that process. And they were almost like had a thin, almost candied salt coating of a sense, in a sense that really contrasted with the uh, tomato kind of pasta sauce. It was kind of like a intense dipping sauce for the meatballs. And so I got good at the meatballs, and then around that time I was already just doing real simple pan seared steaks, real basic stuff. Uh, but the pan seared steaks for me, they're cool, but compared to like what I tried next, which was baking, I gotta lower the temperature here. This is going too fast. Um, Lower the temperature on this. The thing was, I was like baking the steaks after searing them. So I was making these kind of like steak, beef, potato things that I would put in the oven. Not quite casserole, not quite, definitely not souffle because there was an egg. And actually, this is perfect. I'm gonna just use that for those pieces. And then so what happened was I started getting into using ginger because when you have the ginger is, I think, part of the same. Now, not saying it's the same kind of like thing as a fruit or vegetable as a pineapple or anything. I'm not saying it's a pineapple, of course not. It's a root, but it's part of the same like cooking skill family as a pineapple in the sense that it automatically tenderizes your food as you're cooking with it. So, like, let's say you were having pineapple cooked with a meal, there's a chance that if the pineapple's cooking with it, it'll make your meat more tender. And then the same thing with ginger. Ginger will tenderize things as well. So I was taking the beef and baking it with the ginger, and that really that really turned out great. And I even brought it to what the bunch of buddies were at, and then so I knew a bunch of guys were going to be there, and then so I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? And I brought a big tray of it, and then a bunch of people were like, oh, I'm not hungry, I'm not hungry. I'm like, hey, all good, no problem. So I just start eating it, right? And then a bunch of the friends are like, Mom, I could probably just try a little bit. And then so and they're like, wow, that turned out really good. And then it's almost like they kind of changed their story. I should start the oven up because they said that they weren't hungry and they changed their mind after seeing me eat the good stuff. And then uh there. What happened was at that point I'm like, okay, I'm moving out of just real super super basic stuff into not very complex, but just a tiny bit more skill than just chopping things up, putting it in a thing of hot water and hoping everything turns out for the best, right? Given enough time. And so what what brings us to this today where we're at was I was at the market and I'm just like, maybe I'll make a potato dish again. And then I'm like, well, let's see what steaks they got in the meat section because I finally got my confidence up for meat where I felt like I could do it and not completely botch it. And what happened is I saw there was beef rib, and I said, beef rib, center rack, interesting, because I'm used to like when you go to a restaurant, usually the type of ribs are like pork rib. That's what's available. And then for me, like I like pork ribs, like I got no problem with them, but they're almost like a sweet. It's almost like a dessert meat in a sense. And compared to like the beef rib from the other day, totally different animal. Well, literally, it's a different animal, but I mean, in terms of the dish, it's like the tenderness, the beef. There's no strange looking pieces. It's just kind of like the center rack. The beef just kind of tender, comes right off the bone. You can eat the whole part of it. It's just mostly time. Now, that being said, I've never actually cooked pork ribs before. I've only just done this beef ribs this one time, which turned out great. And I was really lucky because there was someone on the stream who was like, "Oh, you need to get rid of the silvery fatty layer at the bottom, otherwise your ribs will end up being tough." And then so, because I had all my instructions from what I found online, I basically typed in what I had from ingredients wise to ChatGPT and just was like, can I make a good rub for these ribs uh, based on what I have? And it was kind of like a smoked paprika, like a smoked paprika rub with, and then I did have some whiskey from Party uh, almost a year ago, and so I guess half a year ago. And then I was like, can I use this for with the ribs because I'm not going to just drink this. Can I use this as something? And I was like, yeah, you use that as the binder. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then so what happened was the as it was cooking in the foil because um, the suggestion was to use tin foil, aluminum foil to it almost kind of created a liquefier kind of thing for the ribs, 4 hours at 275, and all the fatty part of the ribs, the really loose fatty parts of the ribs, turned into that liquid that you saw over there a second ago, which you're going to see again here. And then the uh who's this part? Um oh yeah, and then the fatty part of the ribs that didn't just dissolve into liquid, that actually, this is quite a bit of potato. Hmm. Oh well, I'm not having any meat, so that makes sense. But I mean, eating 4 potatoes in one sitting, it's kind of extreme. Haven't eaten anything yet today, but some raisins. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If I live, then you'll have more videos. I mean, but okay. So there's that. Oh, and then so all the liquid from the ribs uh leak into the bottom. We gotta lower this temperature again. You know, this is almost like this has got an Asian-y vibe now. I think this is how the um dishes, like more like Asian style dishes, do it. I think they use the liquefied fat from the meats in other things, and it's super like savory and super flavor intensive. Makes sense. That's a very smart, efficiency on multiple levels. Because it just kind of has a smell where it's kind of Asian-y smell of like almost it has almost like a Szechuan kind of vibe, even though I didn't I did use cayenne pepper. Interesting. Okay. Learning, right? We're all learning together. So the goal is, now that I have the onion, I have an onion there that I want to chop up. I have this potato. Okay, this part of the potato goes in here. Oh, that mark goes in there. I don't waste that. I put that in the garden. Did I tell you that I got some volunteer potatoes? I literally threw these in the garden, the parts that look like that, and then instead of it being garbage, it just went in the garden, and then I got 2 potatoes out of it. Oh, and I ate one of them. The other one, since I kind of hit it with a shovel, I put it back into seed for the other area. So, so there's that. I'm just gonna give this a quick wash. Um, let's put a layer of potato at the bottom. This is gonna be like the potato bed, like that. Cool. So that basically what's gonna happen is the bottom of the thing will almost be like one big French fry. Be a little French fry at the bottom. Okay. Next up is the mushroom. That one wanted to roll away. Trying to get away from us here. Never let him roll away. That's trying to get out of their job. Okay. Oh, good. The oven's ready for us. That's good. And The thing is, I'm out of beef because I ate all the beef that night, but I have the drippings that were left over. So what the theory is that the mushrooms are like little nature's little sponges, right? And I mean, technically, sponges are from nature, but they're going to absorb the juices of the meat juice, and and then also take on some of the onion flavor, and then the potatoes. What is the job of the potato? I feel like I know the potato in this dish is going to be more like um kind of the starchy, fun, just more. It's just like the starchy thing. It's not going to take on the flavor as intensely as the mushroom will, but it still will take on some of the beef flavor for sure. But the potato is probably going to just be more like a starchy flavor, which is always fun, right? Instead of a grain, you just have the potato because potatoes can be subbed as a instead of having grains someday, you could just have a potato. And it counts as your starchy, whatever. Because usually when people are hungry, they just want a complex carbohydrate, some kind of grainy thing, and then maybe a proteiny thing. Not, it doesn't take that much to make your body happy, right? Because your body knows how to create its own sugars. So if you if you have a potato, that's basically like a little sugar factory. It's just it's just not as intense as, eating something refined sugar or fructose. Like, because fructose is just a couple steps away from, sugar, but it's still a lot better for you. And then the more challenging it is for your body to make that sugar out of whatever it is, so it can turn it into energy, it usually means there's some nutrients in there along the way. So, for example, a potato, it's not as sweet unless you're getting sweet potato. But like, let's say a regular potato, russet or whatever, that is not as much sugar as a strawberry, pound for pound. And then, watch this. And so, gotta be real careful when you're cutting it because it can slip. So I just kind of, oh, be careful on this part. And dry it off. All that will just be in my garden thingy. So we got. It's almost like you get more nutrients out of food that takes a little bit of work for your body to process. And meat takes more time for your body to break down. Okay. So I didn't eat anything yesterday. I just had a little bit of cashews. I was just digesting I was digesting the ribs from the night before. I did not, I just didn't need food yesterday. I was just still full. Well, that actually kind of makes sense because I had quite a bit of beef ribs in one sitting. Actually, I didn't even sit down. I just ate them all right here. It was like I ate the ribs in one standing. It wasn't even sitting. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna bring these upstairs and do some computer work with my ribs. And then I'm just like, nope, they just got eaten right now. They're so good, right? No, it was completely unnecessary for me to bring it upstairs. Like, let's say that's why pastas are good, because let's say you're got a lot of work to do coding stuff, and you have your pastas. Pasta's good, but it's not like ultra good, and it takes time, to eat it. And it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna wolf down these pasta noodles. No, you just, it's like whatever. And you kind of pace yourself a little bit more than with just a straight beef dish like that. And I can't believe it, we're already done. You did it. So easy. So what's next? Let's think. Oh, now now we're just get to have fun here. Um go like this. I'm just gonna kind of just treat it as my little potato canvas here. Happy little potato canvas. Where do I put that? Put this right here. Potato canvas activated. Just don't want to get it on the ground. I didn't chop all the way through there. And the chopping block. Chop, tap. Okay, so we do a potato. Don't forget the sauce part. That's coming. Don't you worry. Where is it? Wow, this is turning out to be a lot of stuff. Did I get the right size thing for this? Uh-oh. Hmm. This ended up being more than I thought. Uh-oh. Onion. Dang, this is gonna be a lot. Oh, did I make too much stuff? Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna need a ton of cheese. I'm just gonna do very small amount. Wow, this is gonna be great. Does it get bigger or smaller? Usually it shrinks down. That's right. All the onion used. Got ready for the main part. Fill these corners. This is going to need to be baked for a while. Trader Village. Cool, I got room in that corner. Got some room over here. Man, this could feed a family at 18. Or it could just feed me for 5 seconds. That's right. Yes, sir. Wow, I fit it all in. There's always room for one more, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Delicious. Okay. Um, that. When you look at this oil that we got, I mean, that is just pure magic. Oh, it smells so good. You will not believe how good this smells. That's so strange how, like, liquefied animal smells good, but it does. Liquefied friends. Isn't it funny? You'd expect it to be like revolting and vile. Nope. Like it, like, oh, this is a liquefied critter. It's not gonna smell good. No, it smells good. Smells really good. How am I doing water wise? Okay. So when we look at the bottom, there is, it's about, for this, how much there is here, I want to add a little bit more water. That's perfect. Okay. Pepper. You see how I didn't go overboard on the cheese? Max really got to do butter on top. So there's butter on the bottom, butter on the top. Butter taters. Oh my gosh. What are we looking at? It's basically just like eating 4 baked potatoes at the same time. Of course. What the heck? Baked potato journey. This is not a diet channel. I think people are figuring that out now. This is for people that are working on their houses and then eat some extra calories here. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here. If it gets too buttery, I mean, it's fine with me. So we got that. A little bit more peppers. Now the did that. There's a little bit of sea salt on top, just for fun. Sea salt crust. Sea salt pepper crust. Already got the oven going at 350. Wax paper nope going with that. It's good. Now for this one, I do let it breathe a little bit with quick. This isn't like the other thing where no air can escape. And this is, and we're done. So I'll post for short when it's all ready, okay? And then hopefully, well, it's good that. Well, that did take an hour of preparation. I guess I do spend a lot of time on this stuff. That's funny. Okay, you take it easy there.